Cool cats, this is take number 3. I'm not redoing this. I messed up twice. If I mess up, we're gonna keep going, okay? So we're gonna go through a barbell deadlift tutorial. Why? Because barbell deadlift is one of, honestly, the best exercises that you can do for just overall power and strength and just functional mobility. Keeps your hips and everything just nice and strong, and that's what we need. You're never gonna be in the situation where you don't have to lift something up off the ground. Period. As we get older, the more we're going to be able to need to engage the proper muscles, engage your core, get your lats in place, hinge from your hips, lift the weight up properly, like if you're lifting up a 50-pound piece of luggage at the airport, you know, or tons of other things, boxes, your, you know, stuff at home, whatever. Anyways, it applies to everything. So learning how to do it is really important, and you can do dumbbell deadlifts. Now you can do kettlebell. There's so many different variations, but a barbell deadlift is really going to help with power and strength. Just because of the weight that it's going to require. You know, a kettlebell deadlift there's only so far that you can take it, and also not only that, but your grip strength, the way that you're holding the barbell, is going to work so many more muscles than just holding like a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Not that both of those are not important or are not great, okay? So, a few things that I want to talk about first. I'm going to demo it back here, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit before I get back there. So the first thing we want to always remember is that a deadlift is a hip hinge movement. So your butt goes back and we hinge at the hips. So your knees are slightly bent. They're not like locked out or anything, so you're not like this. Your knees are slightly bent, and then we hinge back from the hips. So your knees are soft, but they're not moving. They're not like, it's not a knee exercise, okay? So nice flat back. We shift everything back. Chin is tucked, right? So we don't want to be like way up here. Chin is like nice and tucked and neutral. It also doesn't need to be like touching your chest either, but hips back in this position, and then we use our hips to pull the weight up, okay? So that's where you're gonna get most of your power and your strength and everything. Your lats and your back are gonna be like a helper, but you wanna get the power and the strength from your legs. Okay, so first thing, that's hip hinge, right? We hinge from the hips, and then we wanna make sure that we're properly engaging the core and properly engaging the lats. So that way we're not just like lifting it up with whatever muscles wanna turn on. So properly engaging the core. We've already talked through this, and if you don't remember, go back to the ab workout video that I did like a week ago and watch that again. So remember, how do we contract the abs? We bring them in. And how do we bring them in? Get all that air out of there, tighten them nice and tight, and now we're strong, we're ready. Someone can punch me in the gut and I won't even feel it. So hip hinge, not hip hinge, tight core, and then how do we engage those lats, right? Like what does that even mean? Okay, so it's a little tricky and it's gonna take practice. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. But basically you wanna think about bringing your lats down and your armpits as close to your body as possible. So someone once told me, act like you have like 2 lemons in your armpits and you're trying to squeeze them. I don't know, that helped me. I didn't make that up, but yeah. So let's go through all 3 of them. Those are the main important moves, okay? So hip hinge, nice tight core. When we get to the bar, and I'm gonna show you here in a minute, then we squeeze those lemons. So now my lats are turned on. And now I'm gonna use my hips to lift the weight, and my lats and my back, the big major muscles back there, are gonna help me. Okay, so last thing I wanna talk about is the different variations. So there's RDLs are a completely different thing, so we're not gonna consider those. I'm talking about to the floor and up deadlifts. Okay, so RDLs are another topic, and it's fine, we can talk about it another day, but we're gonna just talk about from the floor up deadlifts, and that is conventional and the sumo deadlift. And it's just preference. Honestly, it has a lot to do with how your hips and your femurs and your body's positioned to what you prefer. So it's just whatever you prefer. Whatever feels good on your back and your hips, go for that. You know, there's no right or wrong, because if you're sumo deadlifting 300 pounds off the floor, I guarantee you that still counts, you know? So just go with whatever you prefer. I'm gonna show you both so that way you can try them both out, and then you can make the judgment for yourself. Okay, but they're all gonna start with the same thing, right? They're all gonna be hip hinges, tight core, tight lats. They're all gonna have that. It's just our feet placement. So for a conventional deadlift, your feet are about like hip width apart, and then you come down and you pull the weight up. So hip width apart, we come down, and we pull the weight up. Now, the only difference with the sumo is that your feet are wider. So obviously, if your feet are wider, you're gonna have less range of motion. So that's the whole argument behind it, is that it's not as much of a range of motion. But like I said, if you're sumo deadlifting 300 pounds, you're still deadlifting 300 pounds. I don't care. So anyways, toes outward, right? Nice and wide. And people go like way out here, you know, like crazy. This is a little too much for me. Like it's too far of a stretch for me. I'm a very short person, so I don't go that far out, but people go really far out. You can look it up and just see what variation and how far out you want to go. Play with it. I like to be just like at a medium, like I like to be outside hip width, but not like so far outside hip width that my hips are like about to dislocate, you know? And then my toes are outward, and then from here it's the same movement. Down, and then I pull the weight up, okay? So I'm gonna show you both on the bar, that way you can try them and then you can make the decision for yourself. So, conventional. Remember, feet right at hip width. So we hinge at the hips, butt goes back, nice tight core. We grab the bar, and then once you grab the bar, then you can pull your lats back and lift. And remember, chin is tucked, nice neutral, we want controlled. Tighten your lats again. Nice and controlled. A few things you want to watch out for is that we don't need to be doing like this or this, you know? Just once you get straight up, that's it. Bring it right back down. And then another little trick, the closer to your shins that the bar is, the easier it's going to be on your lower back. You don't want to put all that stress on your lower back. The closer to your center the weight is, the lighter the load is going to be on your lower back, right? So keep it like grazing your shins basically, okay? And that'll help you keep in form too. Okay, so sumo, same thing. My toes are out. All right, hinge forward, tight core, straight lats or tight lats, and I pull. Again, pulling with the hips, chin is nice and neutral and tucked. Engage the lats at the bottom if you need to. Okay, cool. So I hope it helps. Definitely try it. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the dumbbell deadlift, kettlebell deadlift, cable deadlift. There's so many different variations that you can do, but you should at least know or incorporate every once in a while a barbell deadlift, because there is power and strength and functional mobility and athleticism, and just so many good things come from barbell deadlifts. So if you have any like injuries or issues that you're like, I can't really do a barbell deadlift, message me and I can send you like a substitution that I would substitute for it. The trap bar is a really good one if you know what that is. You can Google it, and that's a really good one, especially if you have like hip issues. And it's still kind of a barbell. So anyways, I hope this helped, and that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.